Neighbors say White lived in Kennesaw with his parents.
I was like, there's no way, Patrick. I feel like I've known Patrick for most of my life. Not really known him, but seen him around the neighborhood.
Joshua Shira says police got to White's house around 11:30 Friday night and investigated into the early morning hours.
Around 10 cop cars, and they, breached up to the house, got the parents out. I don't think they knew until they showed up either.
Officials have not yet released a motive for the shooting, but a neighbor told Fox 5 White believed the COVID-19 vaccine led to an illness.
It feels so weird to be so close and connected to a tragedy.
Oh, that's a lot of gunfire. Earlier today, CDC leaders held a Zoom call speaking to its horrified staff about yesterday's attack. One employee told the agency director that they felt like sitting ducks.
There was a lady who just got off the bus, she was saying, and she was in a panic. She was trying to run towards the parking garage over there, but my executive chef signaled her to come inside because, you're hearing gunshots everywhere. You want to make sure she's safe too, so you don't want to, have her getting harmed.
Pretty amazing that they were even thinking of the people outside, trying to make sure they were okay, as they themselves were trying to figure out what was going on and to get to a safe location. Now, Benton tells me they anxiously waited in a secure back room of the restaurant for the all clear. Didn't come till a couple hours later. They said about 7:30 they finally were able to exit the restaurant and leave the area. He says they then learned of the bravery and sacrifice of DeKalb County Police Officer David Rose.
Hey, what's up? It's Taking Out Clips. Welcome back. And I wanted to update you guys with the CDC anti-vaxxer shooter situation. Really sad because a cop passed away. We talked about this yesterday. David Rose. He had a wife, survived by a wife, 2 kids, and another on the way. Very tragic situation. Hero responded to the situation that was happening when the shooter was shooting into a CDC building. And by the way, there was a daycare. The CDC had a daycare with 92 children in there. So just imagine the damage this guy could have done if maybe he had gotten inside, or maybe if this guy hadn't slowed him down. Now, this person, the shooter, has been identified. Patrick Joseph White, and 30 years old, identified as the CDC shooter. The deranged man who fatally shot a cop is identified as Patrick Joseph White. Now, the weird thing about this is that there's nothing online. There's no picture. I haven't seen no history. Nothing on this Patrick Joseph White person. Completely scrubbed. There's like nothing so far that I've seen. I checked today. I checked yesterday. That's a little odd. And again, rest in peace to David Rose. Just condolences. So just horrible, horrible. A family man, the wife, the kids, the baby on the way. It's just, I don't know, man. And so he was reportedly struck and killed while responding to reports of an active shooter in Clifton Road Drugstore, which is located across the street from the CDC's main campus. The gunman was reportedly found dead on the 2nd floor of the CVS, though authorities have not said whether it was self-inflicted or somebody had shot him. And the heroic officer joined the department September 2024. Fairly recently, he was rushed to Emory University Hospital. He succumbed to his injuries. And the shooter likely targeted the CDC after he became sick with an apparent illness that he blamed on the vaccine. Look at that. Look at those shots. A bullet hole in the door of a CVS pharmacy that Patrick Joseph White stormed into on the campus. White's father had called law enforcement before the shooting to tell them he believed his son was unalive, like he was going to unalive himself. The timeline between that phone call and White's blow up was not immediately clear. And so the shooter sprayed multiple rounds at law enforcement at the health agency located right next to the university, which also houses a daycare with 92 children. Crazy, crazy, crazy. One police cruiser at the scene was also apparently hit by about a dozen gunshots to the windshield, the hood. This guy was just ready to take out anybody. The shooter was armed with a long gun, and authorities recovered 3 other firearms at the scene. There was this one neighbor that had come forward as well, neighbor to Patrick White, and said that this guy was against vaccines and noticed him looking slimmer recently. Ozempic? I don't know. What's up with that? Or he just lost weight. Another neighbor described White as pleasant, such a nice guy, and said he never talked politics, but was against the vaccine. He helped neighbors in yards and walked their dogs, and everybody was shocked by it all. So, very, very peculiar situation. And as I mentioned on the live stream, I think it was yesterday, that there are some people that took the vaccine and regret it. They're looking for concoctions online and how to get it out of their system, and taking all kinds of homeopathic, aka natural or homemade stuff, I guess, to try to get this thing, whatever it is, out of their body. And there is vaccine injuries, I'm not saying taken away from anybody, but there's people that generally took it, regret it. There's people that took the first shot but didn't take the second shot. There's people that took both shots but didn't take the boosters. And there's people that took both and all the boosters. And, I wonder, again, like I said, what kind of illness was he facing? What kind of sickness? How long? And just horrible that an innocent person like this cop had to get, or not had to get, but got killed in this horrible situation. This was a makeshift sign that they made, like a little memorial, like a makeshift, people just thanking Clifton school teachers and staff. Thank you for your bravery, love, and bravery. So sad, man. So sad. With a baby on the way. So I don't know. We'll see if we find more out about this story. Also, it's just a mystery, quiet question mark. Nothing really about the guy. But love you guys. Take care. Hope you have a great weekend. Stay safe. We'll see what pops off today. I did a stream this morning on the Ick and Mel main channel, so if you missed it, make sure you go check it out. Another bizarre story about this Giovanni in Florida missing. Well, now they believe I think they confirmed his body. I'm not sure. I think his body was confirmed. Hung out with his cousins. His cousins came to pick him up at 1:30. Cousins he's never met before. They were smoking. 20 minutes into the ride, the cousin says he started allegedly acting erratically, pulled out a knife, so they abandoned him, left him dead. His body's found in a retention pond. Crazy. All right. Take care. Love you guys. Bye.